have 11 years of experience with language learning, and in this video I'm going to tell you exactly what I wish I knew 11 years ago, so that you can reach your language goals in less time. Number 1. Start out with basic phrases instead of grammar. A lot of people start with grammar, but that can be boring and you don't see the results straight away. Instead, start with ready-made phrases that are useful for the context in which you'd like to learn a language for. For example, if you're going on a holiday, in a restaurant, in a bar, learn phrases relevant to that. Then practice them straight away to get evidence that you can learn a language. Number 2. Surround yourself with language as much as possible. The ideal situation is that you're living in the country where language is spoken. However, if you can't do that, surround yourself with content like TV shows and movies in your target language instead. This essentially allows your brain to understand the language and it trains your ear on what it sounds like. Number 3. Consistency matters so much more than intensity, similar to working out at the gym. If you continue for a long period of time, you will beat or outperform anyone who is intensively trying to learn a language, for example, over a weekend or a few weeks or a few months. As long as you keep going, you will succeed. Number 4, forget about perfection. It's actually necessary for you to make mistakes in order to practice a language, in the same sense that learning a new skill requires you to fail. Because if you don't fail, you're not trying enough, you're not trying different things, and you need to try things to understand what works and what doesn't. So your brain understands patterns by giving it a go, realizing what does work and what doesn't, and it gets better in that way. So by aiming for perfection, you're stopping yourself from progressing. Instead, be okay with being imperfect. Number 5. Native speakers don't actually get offended if you say the wrong thing. Many people are scared of making mistakes in case they offend or annoy native speakers when they're talking with them. But realistically, if you're putting effort into speaking a different language that's not your native language, trying to communicate with a native speaker, they will appreciate you for that. Think about if a foreign person says something in your language and it's not quite right, you're not going to be offended. You're just going to understand that they're making an effort to speak with you. With that said, it should be easier for you to practice with natives, no longer being fearful that they'll be offended by anything you say. Number 6. Focus on one language at a time. Many people who want to learn different languages get obsessed with the idea of learning Spanish and Italian or Spanish and French at the same time. Realistically, don't do it. Focus on one at a time until you reach conversational level that's good enough in that language before you move on to another one. If you learn them both at the same time, like I've tried with Spanish and Italian, it doesn't work. You just mingle words and you say the wrong word in the wrong language and it just turns into a mess. So focus on one until you get to a conversational level where your brain can differentiate the languages and the words between every language, and then start another language when you're at that level. For me, I started Spanish first, then went on to Italian. Now I alternate between the two. But also understand that as you're practicing one language, you'll forget a bit of the other language. So there is always a trade-off. For example, if I'm learning Spanish, I'll forget bits of Italian. My Italian will get a bit worse until I pick up Italian again. So just bear that in mind. Everything comes at a sacrifice with language learning. Number 7, courses and language lessons don't work unless you work with them. So essentially, first thing is you have to find a teacher who you get on well with. Secondly, you have to be doing exercises that you actually enjoy. So learn content that's relevant for you and that's enjoyable. For example, if you don't enjoy football, but you're studying with a language teacher and they're using football as an example to teach you a language, then you're not going to like it. That can apply to anything as well. So make sure that if you're on a lesson or course that you get on with the teacher, and also make sure that you're studying things that you enjoy and that's relevant to why you want to learn a language. It can be difficult in courses because they're already ready-made and it's a group of people learning together, but with a language teacher it's different. You can tell a teacher what you want to learn, so focus on that instead of letting them tell you what they want to teach you, and you'll get there quicker because you'll have more of an interest in what's being taught to you. Number 8, learn new words and phrases within context rather than looking at a list of words. You can look at a list of words like you did in school, maybe a chart of words related to a certain scenario, but if you learn it in context, it's so much better. That's why movies can be so useful, because if you're learning a word, you can see the visual, you can hear the audio alongside it, so you know what that means in real life. Whereas on a piece of paper, there's often no context around it. And if you're associating context with a word, then your brain finds that so much easier to remember in the long term. Number 9, you won't always be motivated with language learning, and that's fine. A lot of the time, people start off wanting to learn a language, and it lasts a few weeks or months, but then quite often, if you don't see the progress, your motivation drops, and that's it. However, if you integrate it into your lifestyle, it becomes a norm. You don't have to have motivation. However, that being said, motivation can drop completely, and if that happens, don't beat yourself up. If you want to take a day or a week or a month off, that's absolutely fine as long as you get back into it. It's the amount of times you get back into it that counts, because consistency over the long term matters more than anything else. So ultimately, just get back to it when you get a chance to. Don't beat yourself up if you take a day or two off. Number 10, you have to enjoy actually learning a different language if you want to reach your language goals. It can be useful to motivate yourself from an external thing. So, for example, if you've been on a holiday and you hear people ordering at a restaurant and you get inspired by that, that's good. But if you don't actually enjoy the process of putting effort into learn a different language, you're not going to get there, because you have to spend a lot of time over a long period of time, a lot of consistent effort to reach your language goals. And you have to enjoy that to make it become worthwhile of your time, because you have to sacrifice other things in your life to make space for language learning. So if you enjoy the process of learning a different language, you enjoy what you're doing and the activities, it won't feel like a chore or homework. It'll feel more natural and fun. And therefore, you'll massively increase the chances of getting to your goals. So that is it. If you're interested in learning more, I also have a 1-minute email course that I send you an email every day for the next 30 days to give you more tips on how to learn a language in less time, in less effort. There's a link below if you're interested, and it's absolutely free. Now, YouTube is really good at recommending videos for you. So if you click in the top left of my screen now, you'll see a recommended video that YouTube thinks you'll benefit massively, and it'll help you towards your language goals. So click that straight away, and I'll see you later.